Does sim drifting translate to real life?
No pressure. You don't have two professionals behind you or nothing. Yeah, no big deal.
Gotta stop, gotta stop, gotta stop, gotta stop playing this. Gotta stop, gotta stop.
Today, I'm here with my buddy Ray. He's the guy behind the camera.
What up?
It's gonna be a weird subject. I've been involved in Formula Drift since 2008. Whether it was like kind of getting my start in photography or, just enjoying the show in general. But since then, I've actually made a career out of Formula Drift where I'm now the team moto photographer. Obviously a huge honor. It's fun traveling with the team, getting to see the camaraderie, at Formula Drift with other teams and other personalities that show up at these events. But there's something that's been missing in my life that I've always really wanted to do, and that's actually drift. Believe it or not, I've actually never been behind the wheel of a drift car. I've taken many ride-alongs. I've had the pleasure of riding along with Vaughn, Aasbø, Turk, James Dean. I just did a ride-along with James Dean. And every single day that I kind of go through that, I'm like, man, I really want to be behind the wheel one of these days. So I ended up buying last year, actually 13 months ago, this E46. It's not much to look at right now. As a matter of fact, it did roll in here. It was a fully assembled car. I was just like, I know what I want in a car. So I'm running a stock 330. There is a couple of minor upgrades, which is a M50 manifold. I and my brother-in-law decided to actually gut the vehicle. So it's pretty much trying to get as much power as we can with the stock drivetrain. Yeah, this is her. But to be honest, I was actually quite scared to start driving. Again, I've jumped into a few cars. My old boss let me jump in his 240 back in the day. I've done donuts, I've done big circles, I've done all the normal stuff, but I've really never driven on a track. Instead of just jumping into this car, what I decided to do a month after I bought the car was build a sim. I have really good friends in the industry, and one of them put me on SIMAGIC. I kind of went a little wild on it. Kinda. Just like a stock Civic, it went from, oh, I just need a single monitor, oh, I just need this, oh, I just need that, and it turned into this little beast of a setup. And so here we're running kind of the SIMAGIC family of parts. So we got the SIMAGIC handbrake, SIMAGIC shifter, H pattern, SIMAGIC Alpha, SIMAGIC P2000 pedals, triple monitors on a position advanced chassis. It is also set up for live streaming, so that's actually been a hobby of mine, is live streaming my progress of drifting, right? Even though you think what you know about drifting is, even jumping on a sim, I was almost a little overwhelmed. By overwhelmed, I was like, I know what to do. I know how to take this corner. But no, it was nothing like that. I spent the first 4 months just trying to figure out, what the hell am I doing wrong? First, I was blaming the settings. I was blaming the gear that I had. The blame's right here. This is blame. Me and my buddy Chris Leakup, he really pushed me to the edge as far as like trying to better myself as a sim drift driver. It's an addicting thing. I really want to get into the sport of drifting. Let's not say professional wise, like I don't know if I'm gonna jump into obviously like pro spec or pro.
You will.
There's a little bit of this and a little bit of not, and actually it's a lot of this. I think I got a good baseline to start off with. Now, is this car gonna be the end all be all for what I want to start with? I actually have other dreams of other vehicles. Does sim drifting translate to real life? What do you think?
Well, I've never drifted an actual car, so I've only been sim driving, but I will say though, it's very challenging, and the sim is very awesome teaching you the fundamentals, especially when you're going from like left-hand drive to right-hand drive. So unfortunately, I don't have an opinion of like how it is in real life drifting. Yeah. But I can say it's great to at least learn and learn those fundamentals and then try to apply it to a real car. And then hopefully you let me apply it to this one, and I don't apply it to a wall.
Well, I hope not, because I will let you take a stab at this, because I'll be taking a stab at this car in about a couple of weeks. I went from left-hand drive to right-hand drive setup on my sim setup. I am going to a different country where I was invited by a kind of known driver.
Someone special.
And he asked me, do you want to go drifting in this country? And I go, I would love to, but I also don't think he knows that I've never been drifting in real life. So that's the goal, is I'm going to jump in this E46. We're going to take out to Apple Valley Speedway, and the goal there is to literally rip it around the track, connect all the lines, connect all the dots, and by the end of the day, I hope I do it.
So essentially, you're going to try to make it seem like you did not just learn like 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, so I actually have thousands of hours on this sim. I'm almost confident enough to say that with the SIMAGIC full line and spending so much time behind it, I'm confident, like 98.2% confident that I will be able to connect a track like ABS. Drivers like Hiroya Manoa, Connor Shanahan, Fredric Aasbø, Ken Gushi, they all practice on sim and they all find it very helpful. Also, another favorite driver of mine's a tandem with, which he's actually been kind of my tandem buddy, is actually this guy.
Wait, this guy?
What's up? Yes. Over here we have Fredric Aasbø. He's in town right after a nice long SEMA week. I invited him over to, I guess, kind of sim with me, right? Unfortunately, we don't have two sims, but we're gonna have him jump on the sim at some point. And then we're just gonna go through some Q&As to talk about a little bit about the SIMAGIC family of devices that you can obviously train with. What has simming done for you?
So when I grew up, I used to do a lot of sim stuff. I was one of those kids that would play Live for Speed, Viper Racing. Before that, even a lot of the DOS games back, or mid-90s. And then as I got into pro drifting, a lot of that fell away because it was a lot more fun to do real drifting stuff. I had the ability to do that, an opportunity to do that, and then put all my money into real life drifting. And then fast forward to 2024, and I'm a 3-time champion, and now there's a whole breed of new drivers coming up and they're killing it. So I'm back to square one, realizing I need to improve my skills. And what is the best way of getting seat time, practicing, daring, driving without ruining pro cars? It's this. With the help of SIMAGIC and Yogi, which was sort of, and it came together in sort of a random way, didn't it?
Yeah, so we have a mutual friend, and I mentioned it earlier on the video, but Chris Leethup. He's the one that got me into SIMAGIC. He's the one that helped me pick out my selection of tools that I wanted to use. And one day he messages me and goes, "Do you want to drive with Freddie?" And I'm like, "Why?" Like, I didn't want to drive with him. Like, here's the thing.
What does that mean?
Here's the thing. Back to the square one where I am the team Netto photographer. We met because of I do coverage for Netto Tire. I sent him all the cool shots that I take after every event. That was kind of this thing of a relationship where, like, hey, like, you want to take a photo? We did a couple cool shoots within the rig. We did stuff on the track. We've done a lot of fun stuff. Now that we've known each other on a first name basis, Chris was like, hey, Freddie needs someone to practice with. You want to come through? I'm like, excuse me, you're talking about sim driver to real life 3-time champion over here. I still remember our first few battles. I wrecked it. I was just like, yeet, just right off the track. Like, I don't want to even touch him. Like, even when I got close to him, I was like, I don't want to touch him. I'm going to hurt him. I'm going to do something, right? Our first one was Formula Drift Utah. Yeah, that one was very interesting because, again, once I got my nerves out, I was just like, hey, this is not that bad. Let me kind of push the way I would push against all these other drivers online. And we had some fun tandem battles. We just went back and forth, myself with a bunch of other drivers that were in a private lobby. I'm not the credit why he won, but I'm not the credit why he podiumed at Utah. But when Irwindale happened, it happened one more time. Chris messages me and goes, hey, Freddie is at my place and he needs to practice right before Irwindale. Do you want to jump on? Ray knows. I had my grand opening party that day.
It was a good day.
It was a great day. I just said, everybody, like, I gotta do. I have some work to do, right? It was me jumping on the sim, and they're like, "What the hell are you doing? Your grand opening's in 2 hours." I'm like, "I got a tandem with Freddie." And then,
Really?
yeah, no, I swear to God, yeah. And we spent about an hour and a half, and I was leading Aasbø with the craziest lines. I was like, I need to psych him out. I need to do something. But we had a full hour and a half of just fun. And I mean, you can tell what happened at Irwindale.
Yeah, another podium. Second place finish. So I guess there you have it. If you want a podium in FT, just start sim drifting. It's that simple.
And find Yogi.
Yeah,
And
sim
find
drift.
in the lobby.
Yeah.
So
Just find Yogi.
Andy Luck, find Yogi, so that way we can put him in prospect.
But what it is learning something. It's not just about learning from a great teacher. It's also about chemistry. We speak the same language. We're buddies. Yogi's easygoing. He gets it. And I'm not trying to hit on you, by the way, but it was
Not today.
And it lined up. Life's busy. We all have a lot of things happening. But he took the time to actually spend time with me and practice, and it all came together. Great sim drifter. He's a much better sim drifter than I am, but I am an expert of real life drifting. And in between the two different things, the two different methods, the two different sports, if you will, we're able to nail down what I need to practice on. I can direct him a little bit on what I need. And that way I can show up to the track feeling like I've been there already.
He talked about doing some erratic lines. Does that help you in real life?
Absolutely.
So the translation from crazy sim drifter to real life was a good transition?
It's the curveball, right? You got to be able to handle that. And I'm a very methodical driver that plans out my runs. That means I'm good, I'm pretty consistent, but I always leave a little bit on the table. And I'm trying to learn and get more in the direction of just reacting to what's happening in front of me. And that's more of the Japanese mindset, where they always do something different and lead and get away with it. Whereas here in the US, we're held to a very strict lead run, but it doesn't mean it always ends up being that way. People make mistakes. And I think the way you drive, you are a great sim drifter, but also those small variances in our runs, it helps me brush up on my visual understanding of what's happening.
Dude, you're so cool. I hope I'm like you when I grow up, dude. That's so cool.
There was a driver that I said that invited me to his country to go drifting. I'll be traveling to Norway with Freddy in February, where, again, this whole translation from this to that, to going to ABS, getting as much training as I can before that. On top of that, train more on that, because I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, I actually set up my sim to right-hand drive. I've driven right-hand drive cars. I've been to Japan, I've been to many other countries, but only thing I know how to do is shift. The moment I jumped on here thinking like, this is easy. Oh my God, I have more respect for these guys that, again, Norway is right-hand drive.
It is left-hand drive.
Oh,
we have a lot of JDM cars.
They have a lot of JDM cars. I got that wrong. I'm sorry, YouTube. So I will be jumping in a right-hand drive car. And yeah, the moment I jumped onto this, I was crashing into people. I felt like I was day one simming again. I was horrible. The only thing I knew was my footwork. Even my steering input was off. It was totally off because my support hand, or my driver hand is my left, and going from that to right, you would think that it's just simple. No, it might be up for some others, but yeah, it was quite the transition. And I've been about 3 weeks into right-hand drive drifting, and I'm barely getting it. But I also noticed the difference in what I'm doing from a left-hand drive setup and a right-hand drive setup. I'm using my handbrake less on my right-hand drive setup because I'm unfamiliar with pulling and pulling. This gentleman knows a lot about left-hand and right-hand driving. What do you think like the biggest difference is?
It's not that hard to position the car, no matter which side you're on, but I find that I'll never be 100% shifting with my left hand. So I'm not really expert at right-hand drifting, you know? I can do it, but you probably want to talk to someone that grew up that way.
Oh, yeah. Do you know anybody that we can talk to?
I mean, the Irish, British, Japanese. Only if we can call Ken Gushi into this.
Hey, can you ring him on the phone real quick?
Ring, 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 Ken Gushi.
What a coincidence.
All right, guys. We got Ken Gushi here too. Yes, this is a crazy first episode, or second episode, whatever you want to call it. Ken and I have known each other for about 20 years now.
Yeah, almost.
And
since you were like, what, 2?
Yeah, 2 years old. We're 22 now. No, we've known each other for quite a while. Obviously, a Toyota teammate with... is that right? Toyota teammate?
Yes.
Yeah. Toyota
Gazoo Racing.
Yeah. He is one of the drivers that is actually most familiar with going from left-hand drive to right-hand drive.
I was born in Japan, but I was actually raised in the States. So naturally, I was a left-hand drive driver starting out drifting. Never had an experience driving a right-hand drive prior to my drifting experience. I had a really good offer back in 2021 to go to Japan to drive for a big team, Kazama Auto, and compete in the Formula Drift Japanese series. But the only problem was the car that I was going to be competing in was a right-hand drive, and I had never competed in a right-hand drive. I've driven right-hand drive vehicles here and there, obviously going back to Japan, rental cars are all right-hand drive, but to be driving a right-hand drive and to be drifting a right-hand drive is entirely different. It's very different.
It's different.
I mean, when you're focused on putting the car in the right places, you kind of tend to forget which hand you're supposed to be using to shift the car, use the handbrake. And even at that moment, you're like, okay, now you're trying to focus on the shifting, and then you lose track of where you're trying to go. Freddy actually came here for the first time competing in a right-hand drive, which I thought was pretty crazy. because I didn't know Norwegians drive left-hand
I
drive.
made that mistake.
We don't. It's just we have a bunch of JDM imports. But I remember the first time I tried a right-hand drive car, I reached for the shifter and the handbrake in the door, right? Like right hand.
I did the same.
I punched since I don't drive a real car, I punched my monitor. Both these gentlemen are SIMAGIC ambassadors for the company, and I thought it would be the perfect opportunity while Freddie's in town, and Ken is a neighbor basically.
Wait, let me go back to my story.
Okay, yeah. Oh, yeah. Go.
So anyways, I had this great opportunity to compete in Japan, but the only problem was I didn't know how to drive a right-hand drive. I had a sim setup at home. I switched my sim setup from a left-hand drive to a right-hand drive just to practice driving a right-hand drive and get accustomed to shifting with my left hand, pulling the handbrake. And the following year, I went to Japan, competed, and it just felt super natural.
Yeah.
So I can't emphasize enough how important and helpful a sim rig is.
Yeah, and of course, right now you have your SIMAGIC set up at your.
I do.
Your shop.
I just recently became a SIMAGIC ambassador, and at my shop now I have a full SIMAGIC setup, right-hand drive, just to keep myself conditioned in case another opportunity arises. But it's awesome.
So, are you gonna be like kind of switching the shifter like I'm doing to do both?
No, I think my setup will be permanently right-hand drive, just because I don't get the opportunity to drive a right-hand drive otherwise.
What he's saying is he's an expert at left-hand drive, right?
Yeah.
He doesn't need it.
No,
I'm the best.
I'm no 3-time champion, so obviously not. But
Why do you do this to yourself?
But it should, like you had some excellent results in Japan.
Yeah, I know, left-hand drive.
Yeah. Was it?
Yeah, so the last 2 years in Japan was a left-hand drive. So
Okay.
Yeah, obviously I know how to drive a left-hand drive. Put me in a right-hand drive and I need more sense right.
So did they convert that car for you or what?
No.
Oh, okay.
That car was a production left-hand drive.
Oh, okay,
But the
got
first year was a right-hand drive RC. Second and third year was a left-hand drive IS 500.
So anyways, I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna have Freddie jump into the seat. We're just gonna do a couple Q&As and maybe we'll have Ken swap in.
We absolutely will have Ken swap in.
When I feel like you know I don't play right, I'll put up a good fight.
Okay, so first things first, I need you to look straight. Now you can look left and right, see if you feel a little comfortable. Alright, that's good. So if, like for example, if you have this at home and you're like, oh, I kind of like to look a little lower, you would look up a little bit. I see. And then you realign it, and then yeah, now you're centered the way you want to. Right. Are you generally in fourth? I'm generally in fourth, yes. But we might need to re-gear the car. He's like, I'm not that great.
Already on the wall.
So let me do one re-gear for you. So I like running a longer gear for fourth, so I would be like at a 153 if anything. But that's me and how I kind of discovered how to drive rear window. But everybody has their own techniques. So just to give you guys an idea, Freddie does have a sim setup, and he actually has a second sim setup that he uses here in the States. These are my settings, so I don't think he's gonna acclimate that quickly. But from what we saw already, he's actually doing really well.
And I'm still pretty fresh to the whole thing. I'm just getting started getting back into sim drifting. You know, I've been out of it for years. SIMAGIC coming on board now and me realizing this is what I need to hang with the kids, you know, coming into the sport now. I'm just dabbling in it now, and obviously the goal is to rip.
And we'll cut. This is where you did good.
I forgot it that it's right-hand drive there.
Yeah, awesome. See you doing it. I was like, oh shit.
Okay, let's try and get one clean run.
Are you okay with the gearing for now?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
fine with it.
Now that I
Chicken out there on the handbrake.
Freddie is not used to right-hand drive as much as I thought he was going to be. Remember, he does his GR Supra here in the States is left-hand drive, and you know Norway is still a left-hand drive country. Yes, he does drive right-hand drive vehicles that are imported. Even him, I'm pretty sure now he's going to want a right-hand drive setup because he's going to want to practice this at home. This is only the 4th lap for you, so I think the more nervous person over is over there. He uses a VR setup at his shop, and this is something very brand new to him. So again, when they come to my setup, they have to acclimate to how I set up my sim, right? So I'm on triple monitors. I am using a track IR device, and if Freddie can give you an example, if he looks left, the screen moves left. If he moves right, the screen moves right. And this is the tool that I use. This is something in addition to my SIMAGIC product that I'm using. Again, I think it really helped me. Now, will it help me translate to real life? I think I need to find that missing 30, 20%, whatever that percentage is. And you know, these guys deal with speed, momentum, inertia, a wall coming at them. I've never had to deal with that in my life. That's probably the biggest transition from sim to real life, is that I have to be very, what was the word again?
Dude, we're gonna have to like, this is gonna be such a funny edit. There we go,
I have to
restraint.
find some restraint, and when I do take this to AVS, hopefully Door can one day, and make sure that I don't push them off the track, right? Yeah, anyways, back to that.
You know what it comes down to is SIMAGIC listening to what we want, right? They listen. They're, I mean, the most positioned in the sim drifting world. So their stuff is second to none. So you know, it's not the most expensive kit, but it's the right sort of bang for the buck if you're serious about this stuff. You want to try again? I want to try. All right.
Oh, sorry. Is he allowed to drive your GR Supra?
Let me try the Papadakis setup.
Yeah. You might fall in love.
All right, so we have Ken Gushi jumping into the Papadakis GR Supra with special permission by the driver himself.
Don't wreck
Yeah,
it.
you can. Don't wreck it.
more than I usually do.
We'll be sending you a bill from Papadakis Racing. Perfect. Perfect. Cut. I need to put this in sequential. Do you think sequential will help you a lot more? Yeah, let me make that happen for you.
Oh my god.
I'm gonna see Ken here every day, but I need this.
Sarah's gonna show us how it's done.
Yeah.
You got it in you?
Well, I can drive.
She's like hell on wheels. Just saying.
As you can see, Ken's doing the 2018 layout. There you go. That's it.
That's what we should be doing.
Yeah.
Back up on the main.
Should we do this layout at Irwindale next
Too soon. Too soon.
No, you got it though.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of clutch, but I normally don't. But
Okay, I'll do
That's
one
hard.
lap
If you have to.
if I have to.
like you said earlier, like all these kids that just like sim race, like just thousands of hours, just like smoking the competition. This is really where it's at
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
That's kind of why I had to hit up SimMagic. I was like, man, I need to get back into the sim game because of kids like Hero, Connor, yeah, all the sim kids.
And it's working. You know, it shows. It is working. They're doing it. And they're, from my understanding, Hero doesn't use it just for driving practice. He uses it for car placement checks too.
Yeah.
So they'll,
Being in the zone to chase. Yeah.
depending on the lead car's wheelbase and overall length, they'll find out what area of the door to aim for with this front tire. And that's pretty next level.
No pressure.
No pressure.
You don't have two professionals
Formula
behind you or
Drift legend
nothing.
behind me.
Yeah, no big deal.
Yeah. Both grades there. All right, we're out of a job.
I'm going home.
All right, guys, if you made it till the end of this video, we actually have a special deal for you guys from our friends at SIMAGIC, and I'll let these guys take it away.
So for all of you Sim Drift and Sim Race fans, our Black Friday sale starts early this year.
Starting on November 15th, you guys will be able to find deals up to 30% off from our distributors and our online store on a wide variety of our SimMagic products.
And this is going to be SimMagic's only deal this year, so don't miss out.
And keep racing.
Dude, that was so smooth. You're fired. Like that was so good.
These guys have to memorize scripts. I'm usually the guy doing this.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, just all right. Bye.
Bye.